Hey guys, welcome to season 2 of Bixby's Beer Reviews. So lovely to be here with you all again. Hopefully y'all have kept busy these last couple weeks, kept warm, kept safe. Maybe you've checked out a few of the little quick hitter reviews I've been posting on the Instagram, either as stories or as reels. But you know what? It's time to get back to it. And I got a very, very special beer that it kind of drafts off the last beer we had to close out last season. It gets us rolling into 2022 with a bang. From Hardywood Park. One of my very favorite breweries here in the Commonwealth of Virginia that I call home. It's one of my very favorite beers that they do. This is Hardywood Park Gingerbread Stout. If you know anything about Hardywood Park, you know this is one of their most famous beers, one of their most anticipated releases every year. I did think about doing it as the one for our Christmas episode, but a couple of reasons I didn't. First of all, fortunately for me and the rest of us in their distribution area, Gingerbread Stout usually available pretty much throughout the winter. So I'll definitely be drinking these in January and probably even in February too. Also, this particular beer builds on a number of the other beers that we've already tried out. Like the Christmas beers that we checked out, this beer incorporates both honey and spices, in this case cinnamon, into its imperial milk stout base. It's also a little bit like the pumpkin stout that we tried. It uses vanilla and cinnamon and ginger, some traditional pie and pumpkin pie type flavors, but it's really its own thing, and it's part of a burgeoning group of beers that I tend to think of as sort of holiday stouts, where they're explicitly trying to call out a sort of a cookie or a cake or another festive food. I'm very, very excited to crack this one open. Let's take a look, see what we got. So as many of you may know, Hardywood Park also does a bourbon barrel gingerbread stout. Very anticipated. It's a wonderful beer. We may do that eventually. I know I'll probably have some this season, but at least in past years, I've actually found I enjoy the base gingerbread stout a little bit more than the bourbon barrel version. Certainly a little bit lighter. I think this one comes in 9.2%, the bourbon barrel quite a bit more. But let's take a look at the beer. As we can see, it is, again, an imperial milk stout base, so very, very dark, not completely opaque, getting just a little bit of light at the bottom. It's maybe not the most dark beer that we've had. You also note relatively lightly carbonated, very little head, very little evidence of bubbling. Something you're going to see from imperial stouts. You want the big, thick body to carry those flavors through. So that's what it looks like. Let's go ahead and give it a smell. A lovely and festive smelling beer, as one would expect. The cinnamon and the ginger are very much the dominant aromas here in about equal measures, and that's what you want here. It is exactly like smelling a freshly baking gingerbread cookie. Beyond that, it has a very smooth finish to the aroma. You get a little bit more of the vanilla there, maybe even a little bit of the chocolatey malt underneath, but this really is an adjunct forward aroma. It's very imposing, and it gets right at the flavors that they're advertising here. So that's what it smells like. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. So interesting thing about this beer, the flavor is very, very differently composed than the aroma. Whereas the aroma was very strong on the cinnamon and ginger, and it was very high and sharp and a little bit in your face. The flavors are a little bit more muted, they're a little bit more blended, and most of all, it's a very full-flavored, dark, sweet, and rich beer, and the cinnamon and the ginger are very much in the background as compared to the vanilla and the sweet, chocolatey malt notes. So it's all the gingerbread on the aroma, and it's all the cookie in the beer. A couple of things about how I assess this beer and how I would assess a Christmas beer generally. First of all, usually I like to look, especially when it comes to New England IPAs, for a balance between the aroma and the flavor. If I smell certain flavors in certain amounts, I kind of want the flavors to reflect that when I taste it. I don't want to smell one hop on the aroma, like a whole bunch of Citra, and then taste something that's like a very piney Simcoe. I want to have some expectation of what the flavors are going to be from the aroma. Here, I don't see that as a flaw at all. When you're trying to pull off these very complex flavors, or these flavors that really nod more towards food than traditional beer characteristics, sometimes you're going to have to use something like cinnamon, which can have a very strong aroma, but can have a very off-putting flavor if you use too much. And so I like here getting sort of the different parts of the cookie coming at different times. Another point I want to raise about holiday beers is, especially when they go for an explicitly like food-based concept, it has to evoke the food. I know for a lot of beers, especially fruited sour beers, I say it has to be a beer first, and then only then can the adjuncts sort of come in. Here, I'm willing to go just a little bit farther when it comes to these food-focused adjunct stouts, especially during the holidays, than would be others. Because this beer is intensely evocative of exactly what it advertises. But that doesn't mean that I want something that has an intense motor oil character or that tastes like it has 100 grams of sugar in it. But I am willing to go a little bit more towards beers that have fewer beer characteristics in order to boost up more of their flavor characteristics. And so that's why I think I love this beer so much. The aroma is just so wonderfully festive. And then the flavors are really just a holiday cookie platter, which I know it's a little bit past Christmas, but you know what? Still got Fritz right here. This is our new Nutcracker addition to the family that came over the holidays. He's still baking, so you know what? We're having a cookie beer right now. So thanks for joining me for this one. Really enjoyed sharing this one. So very, very happy to be back here for season 2. We'll be going Thursdays and Sundays all the way through to July 4th to our 1-year anniversary. That'll be the season finale. But I look forward to sharing so many new styles, techniques, components, all the stuff you're going to see at your local beer shop, so I can hopefully give you guys all the information you need to make an informed choice. But thanks once again for joining me. And until then, bye now.